Before you're ready, episode number one. I'm Lizzie Lassiter. Link below to put your email on the list for the Start Before You're Ready mentorship. We're here to talk about content, confidence, iteration, moving from draft to post. I'm going to share my screen and walk you through a few of the pieces of content that I created and shared this week and talk you through the process. This is my newsletter. It goes out every Sunday. And let's talk about pausing as a performance enhancing drug first. That was something that I said. I was in Spain last week on the Canary Islands on a writing retreat. And just before lunch one day, I kind of blurted this out. Pausing is a performance enhancing drug. And I immediately got a kind of zing feeling. I don't know how else to describe it, but I thought, ooh, that's good. And I didn't know in that moment that it would become the subject for that week's newsletter. But what I did was immediately run into my room and write it down. So that's a huge part of my process is whenever I stumble upon something, I capture it immediately. I have a notes file on my phone, on my computer, my Mac, and I just write stuff like this down. This for me felt like a gym. I thought, okay, that is content. Pausing is a performance enhancing drug. It's a subject of an email. It could be a standalone Instagram post. It just so perfectly captures in a few words my encouragement for us all to do more Shavasana. Let's look at the image. So this is hiking in the Canary Islands, and this image was staged. What happened was we were hiking. I wasn't really on my phone, and then we paused to drink some water, and I turned around and saw this view, and I really liked, the this line between at the horizon, the colors, the light. I personally, my aesthetic, I love to shoot into the light. So I'm always looking towards the sun. And I sensed that this view, this direction had that quality. It had the green, it had the stones, the hike, it had the harbor. And then we were going in towards the light. So I handed my phone to my friend Imisha and I said, okay, I'm going to walk away from you, take 5 photos as I'm walking away from you, and 5 photos as I'm walking towards you. Took 30 seconds. This immediately was the boom. When I swiped through, I was like, yes, this is the image. So this became the kind of capstone image for that trip for me. It combined the elements of what was going on there, um, the proximity to the beach, the hiking, wearing a skirt, kind of not necessarily in sporty attire. But I used it as the key image. For my newsletter, I like to use a single image each week. Minimalist simplicity. Okay, so then I just talked about, that I was at the Canary Islands, and then these two paragraphs talk about that phrase. Pausing is a performance enhancing drug. I was on this writing retreat with Gertrude. Fantastic. I highly recommend her. You can just click through that link. That's my affiliate link. It's a 365-day writing program, which I love. You get an email each day with a prompt, and she's just so smart and very inspiring. So I mentioned her, and then I talk about pausing as a performance enhancing drug, and it reminded me that it's not indulgent, it's essential. Science backs this up. A little nugget of science always helps. And then ways to pause with me this year. This is more than I usually do. I usually like to just mention one link that someone might click on, what my uncle, who's a wonderful businessman, calls the cash register. So I love to produce content. I give away a lot of content, but I don't mind at all if each week in the newsletter there's one place for you to come into the world in a way where there's an energy exchange of money, something that you can enroll in and purchase. I mentioned the retreats because that really fits well with the theme of me going on a personal retreat. So I mentioned the retreats coming up for the year and then our two online offerings because they're coming in March. I'm filming this at the end of January. So this is kind of coming up close. Then I give something away for free. That's something I want to show you now, the But First Rest series and the chair yoga. So I've been giving out one of these each week in this newsletter. Here's the But First Rest series is a series of 5 videos. The guided Shavasana is really just an audio that I created. And the one I gave this 2 weeks ago, 1 week ago, and this week, the chair yoga at your desk. So that's this video where I brought my dining room table into my studio, this studio that you see, brought a chair in, and I do a series in the chair showing what you can do when you're at your desk. It turned into an 18-minute video. This series, the But First Rest series, I filmed all in one morning. I like to film content kind of Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday morning. I'll pick one morning each week and work in my studio like I'm doing today. I've just filmed our new moon mail class, that free full length class that goes out on the new moon. I'm filming this for you. And I like to batch work in that way so that one morning a week, I'm doing my hair, I'm putting on my linen shirt, I come in here, and these I did all in one go. So usually already the day before, I've outlined what I'm going to create so that I can be efficient when I come in here to film. So on that day, I already knew this whole sequence. Okay, I'm going to do a one breath practice, a guided breath work, the chair yoga. And for the chair yoga, I had the bullet points of the poses I wanted to teach, the Shavasana setup, and then the guided Shavasana. So this is a kind of package of content that I created out of one morning of work. So maybe I filmed for 2 hours, and then I also did the thumbnails as a batch work. You can see I just made a little template and they're all the same with a different image. These, by the way, were photos that I used that I created for Yoga Journal Germany. And I negotiated with them that I was allowed to use the photos myself as well for my purposes. So I had these in my photo archive and I just picked one for each. So this kind of set of content was conceived of as a package. I can do it in one morning, and I'm a huge fan of batch working. And then it's something I can give 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks in a row. It's something that I can give in my newsletter as a little offering to the reader, to the subscriber. All right, 2 more pieces of content I want to talk about with you here today. This is Instagram. Hello, hello. This is now from that same image that we saw earlier that I loved. I created a little swipey tips, 8 tips for practicing yoga when you travel. Actually got a lot of positive feedback about this post. It did really well. And it was again a reminder that things that sometimes seem simple to you are very helpful for your audience. So I just put together 8 ideas of things that helped me practice. I had just been on a week-long personal retreat. I practiced every morning. And then I quickly jotted down, okay, what are the things that help me practice when I travel? So they're pretty simple. Bring a yoga mat. It took me years to figure that out. I would often, I like to think of myself as a minimalist packer. And so the yoga mat would often be the thing I jettisoned at the end. And then I would get there and be like, oh, I don't have a mat. Okay. Even like a thin travel mat is so great. Sometimes hotels now have yoga mats, but you can put your thin, clean mat on top of their mat. So you have the padding and then you have your own space. And what I did was I saw someone else do this. So I copied her kind of format online of how she did this swipey with a single image. So single image, then I have the kind of title image, and then the image is slightly transparent here, maybe 50% transparent. And then I put the text on top, the 8 tips, tack, tack, tack. They go like this. And then here, the last one, brightened up the image again, or come on retreat with me. So it's like the little ask, comment retreat below, and I'll send you my 2025 offerings. I keep having trouble writing 2025. Like even saying it now is funny. I'm still totally in 2024 brain. So this is then all happening with ManyChat. If somebody comments retreat, it's set up on the back end. It automatically, I did not send that manually. That gets sent automatically, and then they get sent the links to my 4 offerings coming up in 2025. So that's, what's called repurposing content, you could say. I used that image for the newsletter and I used it to create this post. The last thing I want to share with you today is a story that I made and talk to you a little bit about how I think about stories. I personally believe that stories should be at least 3 slides. I don't like it when I click on someone's story and it's just one slide. Um, Leaves me wanting more, not in a good way. So I always think in triptych or more. This story, the one before, this is my story archive. This story starts here. So it's like I'm hiking and then I'm showing you what I'm listening to on my audiobook and then, hiking in the Austrian mountains and going into this little chapel where I did my little meditation. Then this is like a 4-part one using the same image from when the kids were 1 week old and talking about giving myself some empathy as a mom. These are the girls I was in the Canary Islands with. This was so I kind of think of them as like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I like to see multiple sides together. This is also something I've been doing is like putting this line and this line to kind of bookend. So it says like this is a new story because sometimes if multiple stories are sitting there, then you see, okay, I'm changing topics. So this was, let me stop my share. Let me make sure I've shared with my audio because you got to hear the sound. It's great. Okay. So how this story came about is this is what happened on Sunday. I filmed this little moment. I'm skiing. My partner Nico and our kid Otto, I see that they're about to hug. I pull out my camera and I film it, right? So I saw this piece of content. And in this moment, as it's happening, I see this whole story like unfold. And what the story is because it rhymed with this video that I knew we had taken in 2021, which was of Otto, like his very first
Yeah.
I love his little giggling. So it's like the moment of the kid and the dad hugging. And then this year,
Otto.
at Christmas,
Der Wahnsinnige,
same
fährt
kid.
viel zu schnell,
It's really
Ganz
steep.
nice shoes.
That is much steeper than it looks.
aber ziemlich gut.
So we see him there. And then the kind of bookend, the close here is in the third side that comes now. We see, but some things never change. And then it's that echo of that same moment. Him skiing, Miko picking him up. Much bigger kid, obviously now. So, yeah, that is my start before you're ready. I hope it was helpful. Please comment below. I see every single comment on my YouTube channel. Let me know, was this helpful? Should I make more of these videos? Any questions you specifically have? What are you struggling with when it comes to content creation? I'm here to support you. Remember to go to the link below and give your email address if you want to get notified when enrollment for my Start Before You're Ready mentorship program opens up. Take good care and have a great, great, great day.